What is up, Shadow Fighters? It's Balls the Modern here, back with another video. Now, I haven't really been uploading videos about Shadow Fight 3 lately, only been too busy about Pixagon and how to raise up my own career right there, but I think it was time to get back to the good old fighting styles that apparently has some futurism implemented. Yeah, we're actually talking about the Chapter 7.2 update and what we have known so far. So yeah, let's actually just get into the point. So yeah, we have a bunch of news. I won't really say that much news, but there's still quite a bit of news that we have to cover. Firstly, we have a page that has been uploaded a long time ago, since I'm recording this video at the time this was already shared a long time ago. It tells about what the Chapter 7.2 update has in store when it comes to other aspects, such as hard mode, where after when you finish the main story. So as in the title of that article, it says like Chapter 7.2 the end or not. Okay, it's going to be the end, or there might be some kind of surprise that maybe he wants to fool all of us in the audience, like all of us players. Just some trickery right there. But from what I can see in the news article, there's a hard mode and it might be the end or no. So yeah, it's not 100% certain because they only tease it like that. They don't want to spoil anything about the lore and all of that, and neither the release date. They will share the release date, but they have like an expectancy of when the chapter is going to be out, which was during the November, like mid-November, and people might say, well, we're past mid-November now and Chapter 7.2 haven't come out. Neki has fooled us once again with this. Of course, this is what happens to a bunch of developers that aren't as proficient, that aren't really the 100% proficient developers. They have delays and that irritates players. Like, so you might end up as a developer resolving into either not talk about the release date until you're for sure know when it's gonna come out, and you also have to be worrying about if you're, for example, launching the update on iOS and Android. You know which controls, like which agreements go faster when you launch an update. It's going through a process where it actually has to be approved before it can actually be launched publicly into their own characteristic stores. Okay, so that's what the developers have to take into account. But other than that, I'm going to be covering what we have known so far in this teaser, in this period of time when we all just got teased in the Shadow Fight 3 community. So firstly, we got a weapon, okay, and it's a weapon for the Dynasty. Now in Chapter 7.1, which is the one we currently have finished, so we have whip katars for heralds as new weapons, and also we have flail and shield. I might as well show you guys that, just to clarify. Okay, so this is my favorite weapon currently, the legendary whip katars, because it is the only futuristic weapon that we have. Like the other weapons right here, yeah, they're brilliant. Some of them actually look really brilliant, but I prefer futurism, so therefore this weapon impressed me a little with his own design, and also the whip katar's concept of actually being extendable, all of that. And then if we scroll, because my collection is actually really big, because I have also all factions weapons, you also have the final countdown, which is this is how the flail and shield is looking like. It's an extendable energy shield. Well, it's the only extendable energy shield, as you might say so, in the Shadow Fight 3 store. But I prefer with Katar still. Although this Legionnaire weapon, I feel like it's pretty easy to handle. It's pretty easy to handle due to its massive TOI, which is like a white halo that appears. For you guys who don't know, it's a white halo that appears when you attack with a Legionary weapon, because the developers were considering this as Legion weapons were the slowest styles of the game, but can do a good punch as well. So therefore they added this uninterrupted interval only to sacrifice the realistic aspect of the game. in prior to make it easier for legionary players, and also encourage legionary players to play the encourage other players to play the legionary faction. But for me, I find it fun, legionary faction nonetheless. But maybe the developers have taken their ultimate decision that might be tragic for someone, like ruins the logic. For example, the developers, I just gotta quickly bring it in, so you have to forgive me about that. They brought in the update for Herald's unique weapon ability, which is glowing on the weapon, like a forge glowing on the weapon. That is a critical charge, and any attack is going to be unblockable, and if it's an unblocked attack, it's going to be a guaranteed critical. That's how it works. So yeah, the devs have really taken. We have unique abilities, which kinda is like meh. Okay, it kinda gives them like a gimmick of how they play, but at the same time, was that really a convenient way to define? Because Legion has the TUI, the unblockable period. The Dynasty have boosted damage. They have boosted damage for like 3 hits. The next hit after that will do increased damage. And Herald now with a critical guarantee hit. So yeah, and because of that, they also implemented a new stat info called critical damage. How much damage is going to be multiplied when it lands crit. And it can only land crit when it's on a charge, unlike other factions that can land crit on the critical chances that is put into the weapon statistics. You can check it out in your own section. It says critical chance, not how much critical damage is going to apply. So yeah, those are the things, right? So let's get back into it. So we talked about the weapon, okay? The weapon for Dynasty was actually called Match Blaze. Now, I participated because the developers were setting a competition of who could guess exactly what the weapon were. But when I think about it, it's practically impossible to guess exactly the right weapon, because there are different types of weapons, and also a misconception of glaive, which is actually supposed to be a 2-bladed sword. Okay, but they call it glaive, but glaive is a type of spear, more specifically a type of spear. So yeah, so the match blades. Now the developers have also further teased the match blades in its available moveset, and I can show you guys 3 videos right there. So yeah, they look pretty surreal, but that's what defines Shadow Fight 3. Surreal mixed in with reality, of course, because Shadow Fight franchise has all been about people fighting for something, while the shadow aspect, the shadow element, is roaming around in their own world. It's not really dystopia, because dystopia is something quite different than just like a fantasy, sci-fi, all of that. But I think the moves are looking pretty phenomenal. But this looks like some kind of mad Shaolin move. But the twist is that the match blades, how it works is it's actually 2 handheld individual blades that can be actually put together by some kind of magnet. If you would try to simulate it in reality, it looks like the weapon itself can be put together to form a staff, and it will also extend to form a pole arm weapon that clearly can resemble like a double-edged sword, like double bladed sword on 2 sides. Yeah, that's pretty insane. Kinda for me, but it kind of surprises me that that's how it works. I actually thought it's going to be like some kind of standard polar weapon, but when I saw that the weapon itself can actually be handheld separately, yeah, that kind of gives it a little bit more dynamic feel. And this And this is, as always, unlike any other weapon that we have seen in the Shadow Fight 3 series. So yeah, it's kind of revolutionary to see that. Now, now you might say so, with Katars and Flail and Shear, aren't they quite revolutionary? Well, with Katars, from those who play Shadow Fight 2, the with Katars is segmented blades. And segmented blades have already been introduced in Shadow Fight 2 under the name of the composite sword, for you guys who already know that. And I mainly use the composite sword in Shadow Fight 2. I haven't quit playing that yet. That still holds its glory. And Shadow Fight 2 storyline is tied with the Shadow Fight 3 storyline, so it's kind of intriguing to know. So yeah, that's all the moves for the not the whip Katars, but the upcoming match blades. And as always, they come in 4 different rarities, but they may not necessarily bring them all at once. Maybe like 2 of the rarities, but maybe like they want to bring the legendary ones, or maybe just bring the epic ones, or just the rare ones and save the best for last. Who knows what the combos might be? But with that being said, was there any other news that's come by other than that? I don't really think that much. Well, there has been some rumors about people checking out their files, finding out some moves that they predict, clockwork, and also we have some other moves that might be coming out, like special moves. Now, we have flogging for the whip Katars. What about if we have an epic move? And I actually seen people been sneaking through developers' content via Android and figuring out which move is coming out next for the whip Katars. And I've seen it, but I'm not gonna tell it because that kind of ruins, the whole entire point. You get what I mean? Like, if I just gotta spoil everything in this earth, yeah, you get what I mean. So yeah, I'm not gonna be spoiling, but I know the move, and maybe the epic move for the friggin' I forget things kinda. The Flail and Shield is coming by because this epic move was actually previewed, was actually shown during the survival of this current chapter that I'm playing, like in an everyday basis. This is the survival, and we have an enemy called Fiend in the survival that uses this other special move instead of banishing. So yeah, interesting stuff is coming by. Special moves, but we haven't seen perks. I kind of want to wish to have perks back into the game, because that would be bringing, that actually have more interesting strategies and setups that I might choose myself just because of one new perk. Okay, that kind of sounds silly because it's like one new perk. Why not several perks? I'm not sure what the developers are thinking, but what I do know is that they're thinking about further developing the PvP update. So be sure to stick around when that happens. They already released some couple of waves, but they were in Russia, so other people who didn't access it used VPN to try to bypass the restrictions, because it was kind of boring. Yeah, it is boring that they only allow a specific group of people to play the game, but then they don't really have the strong economy to actually share it to everyone. That's what I'm thinking. If you're gonna generate a server for a large group, that's gonna maybe cost a lot from what I can see, so therefore it sucks, but it's for their economical good that they do it. But then again, it leads to all of this inconveniences that the developers have to face themselves. But other than that, there's nothing more that I can tell. Then there's rumored that this picture will represent Shadow. Okay, that's the nearest teaser that I've been seeing right now. The Shadow. Okay, so Shadow, from all of you guys who have been following through the Shadow Fight story, the main story, Shadow is the guy that fights for glory and literally pushes himself into fighting in the gates of shadows, that where everything defines physics and every bad thing, every cruel thing comes out to curse the world when some demons, actually humans possessed by the supernatural powers that happens beside, like through the gates of shadows, that turn out to be some kind of futuristic world with other ways of thinking, dystopia kinda. Yeah, so these events have led Shadow to do drastic decisions. I'm not gonna do the spoilers, okay? I'm putting it as far as I can right there. It led Shadow to do what he did right now, and this is why this silhouette is staring at us. Now, I think that's gonna be it for today's news video. I hope you guys did get everything that you did get, and if there was anything you missed, be sure to leave a comment down below so that you guys can help me out during the next news videos, and maybe just like leave something that you miss. Maybe I will get to answer you guys as well. So other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a great day for it, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video. Bye bye.